In what is said to be a historic year for elections worldwide, Taiwan is set to go to polls on 13th January. With the presidential polls approaching, voters are grappling with choosing parties that vary in their stance towards China. Some 19.5 million registered voters will cast their ballot and choose their next president. Vice President and legislative representatives and ahead of the polls, campaigning is going on at a very high pitch in Taiwan. Contestants are on the campaign trail with supporters crowding their rallies. Although for some elderly veterans, the reminders of past conflict with China are literally etched on their skin in the form of anti-communist tattoos. Meanwhile, the idea of unification with China is also especially unpopular among Taiwan's youth.
There is certainly a generational shift. The older generation was a lot more likely to be for unification, and the younger generation a lot less likely. The younger people tend to have a separate, almost distinct Taiwanese national identity, as opposed to a more Chinese national identity. So in that sense, the trend lines on support for unification is a downward one, less and less support for unification over time.
Meanwhile, Beijing has ramped up its military pressure against the island, including staging 2 rounds of major war games. This has stoked fears of a war that could drag in the United States. China has been claiming that the democratically ruled Taiwan as its own. In fact, Chinese President Xi Jinping says that the country's unification with Taiwan was inevitable as part of his New Year's address. Now, these tensions are dominating campaigning in the run-up to the elections. The main opposition party, Kuomintang or KMT, whose government fled China in 1949, has termed the upcoming polls as a choice between war and peace, a line Beijing has echoed. The party is pitching a middle way. It is defending the island's freedom and democratic system, while seeking dialogue with Beijing under the One China principle. On the other hand, the ruling Democratic Progressive Party, or the DPP, champions Taiwan's separate identity from China. It maintains that only Taiwan's people can decide their future, and they have rejected that framing as scaremongering, saying that nobody wants war.